I explain myself and say I didn't mean to break our hearts. I'd do anything to make you smile again.
And welcome aboard. This is Terri Quinlan. We have a new beginning for this show on cue. We've been doing things in this studio for decades, and today is our very last show in the studio using this equipment that is going to be completely upgraded. We're pretty excited about it. So as a tribute to new beginnings, I have brought a guest that I met at Campus Jack's in Orange County. Great place to go on a Tuesday night to meet some talented people. And fortunately, I met MAJO over a year ago, and we talked about doing a show, but now we're really doing it, which is really cool. So we're going to talk about some of the things that historically she's done, and she's only 23. It's kind of a miracle. And so we have an opportunity to talk on the phone for a little while. So welcome aboard. Thank you for coming today.
Thank you so much, Terri. I'm so happy to be here.
Me too. So you have a really amazing history. And I want to know, first of all, who are your influences as far as music is concerned? How did you come to be able to do everything that you do? Start from the beginning when you were growing up.
Yes. Well, I grew up with just my parents. I'm an only child back in Colombia. I was born and raised there. And funny enough, my parents are not musicians, but they are very much music lovers. So music was all around the house all the time. I grew up listening to Michael Jackson and the Beatles nonstop. Biggest fans.
But you're in Colombia. So you're listening to English.
Yeah. My parents were really, really into like Anglo pop, especially Beatles and Michael Jackson. Well, they were like their heroes, therefore they were inherently my heroes too. But at the same time, this duality with just like tropical Caribbean music. My dad is a big salsa fan. So I grew up listening to this both kind of duality of sounds from the US and just like England, so like Beatles, Michael Jackson, but at the same time we got some salsa from Puerto Rico and Colombia. So lots of different things going on for me when growing up. And although my parents are not musicians, they always wanted me to have some relationship with music because they did already. And my grandpa is a trumpet player. And although he was not a musician when I was growing up, I always wanted to be like him. I always wanted to follow his steps. And I was like, well, if my grandpa did it, and if Michael Jackson did it, I should do it too. You know what I mean?
That's right. Michael Jackson started really young with singing with his family, for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I imagine you would be humming around the house or something, right?
Absolutely. All the time.
But you only speak your Colombian language. So that means that your influences were speaking in English or singing in English.
Right.
How did you manage to do that? My brain doesn't go there.
You know, it's really funny because I only learned English when I was probably like in 6th grade. So I grew up listening to these songs and I had absolutely no idea what these songs were about. I just kind of phonetically learned them, and I would learn every single syllable, not knowing absolutely anything. My mom kind of spoke English, my dad not at all. So we were not like an English-speaking family whatsoever, but we were always listening to
It's really amazing when you think about the versatility of the Beatles and their music is not one tempo, not one easy melody
or genre.
The versatility is really spectacular, but you don't know what any of it means.
No, not at all. I would just groove with it. I was always like a big dancer, so I would just like learn MJ's choreos and just kind of dance around the house with Michael Jackson.
I get that. I used to dance around the house. I know
as you should.
But for me, it was the Mickey Mouse Club.
Well, I do that too.
yeah. But that's really, I don't think I've ever interviewed anybody who started singing a song as they didn't even know what it meant. But then now that leads us to, so you appreciate the versatility of different songs, and so that kind of inspired you to write some of your own songs, right?
Absolutely. I think it was really mind-blowing for me as a kid. I actually remember the moment. I was 6 years old, and I learned that day that people wrote songs. which is kind of funny and it's a little obvious.
No, I know what you mean,
But
because
like, where do
you
songs
hear
come
them all the
from?
time, but where do they come
Where
from?
do they
Yeah.
come from? And I learned that Michael Jackson, specifically, he wrote songs. And I was like, you write songs? And I started, I used to ride a bike a lot around like my neighborhood, and I just started to give a little ride. And I came back home, and after everything that I've just seen, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna write a song about this.
Yeah.
About my little stroll. And that's what I did. So I was 6 years old, and I was like, well, if Michael Jackson wrote songs, even when he was really young, I will do that too.
Yeah.
Like nothing is stopping me, but I just did it for myself. I didn't play any instruments back then. It was just me and my brain, I guess. So I just started to write like little poems with like music in it.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I was 8 that I started to learn guitar that everything just kind of clicked. And I was like, wow, now I can put like music under these lyrics, and now it finally makes sense. It sounds more like the music that I've been hearing in the records I hear. So yeah.
And so you really, other than the influence of that, you didn't have any music study per se, or did you? Or you kind of get that when you learn guitar, but
yeah. Well, I had a couple like piano lessons when I was 6, but something about keys, I just didn't click with it. I'm so sorry with the piano players. I think there was something magical later on that happened with me and guitar. There was a strong connection with that instrument, but it wasn't until I was 8 that I started to study like music.
that's really an amazing story. I've never heard anybody have that kind of a situation where you learned it from a completely different language. I think that takes a certain amount of intellect to be able to do that.
Thank you.
Yeah, it can't be an average thing.
Oh.
You know, it's really amazing. So then, now you studied the guitar, you were writing music, and what happened next to get you a little further along as far as music is concerned?
Yeah, Colombian music happened next. I was learning my favorite songs. So I was learning Anglo pop. I was learning pop music like Ariana Grande, obviously Michael Jackson, Beatles tunes, everything that was happening like in the 2010s until 2015, just learning all these songs, pretty much pop influences. And then I came across, one of my guitar teachers actually said, there is this contest going on, and it is for Colombian bambucos, which is a groove that is traditional from Colombia. And I was like, I have no idea what that is. So tell me more about that. So he kind of showed me a couple of references, and I was struck. I was like, wow, this is different, and it sounds hard to make. And it became a challenge to me. He was like, how about you wrote a song like today, it was like a homework. You write a song in this groove, in this bambuco groove. You have it by tomorrow just to check it out. And I wrote it, I sat down, and it just kind of came out of me. And I was very proud, and I showed it to him. He was like, you should participate in this contest. And I was like, whoa, like that's
Your
too much.
first time to write a song.
Right.
Basically,
my first time to write a song in that genre.
Yeah.
But I participated anyways. I was like, you know what? Let's just do it for fun, for practice,
why not?
to get some exposure. And funny enough, I ended up being a finalist, and that is a national contest, and many songwriters that have been writing songs for like plus 30 years were there too, and I would have absolutely never thought that my little cute song that was my very first in that genre was gonna go so far. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is a big deal. And I didn't realize that when I was just writing the song. And after that, that started like a new chapter for my artistry, which was Colombian music. And I fell in love with it, but I understood that there was something that I wanted to incorporate with it, which were my past influences. So Michael Jackson and the Beatles and some pop. So I was like, why not have just the best of both worlds, you know? Have some Colombian folk that is pretty traditional, and the atmosphere around that niche genre, it's very traditional. So there are certain rules in how to write this song, and it's very much like very strict. And I just kind of took it out of the box and started to incorporate some of the other influences. And it came a long way.
And you didn't ask if it was okay to do that.
No.
You just did it.
I just did it.
Yeah, forgiveness later. I'm going to do it now. That's really great.
I also never thought it was going to be a problem. And I say this because later on, I started to participate in other contests. It got to a point where I was going to a festival or a contest in Colombia, which are like all over the country, at least like 3 times a month. And I didn't realize how much of a shock or a change I was bringing to that atmosphere, because it's so traditionalist.
And how old were you now at this time?
I was 14.
14.
Yeah.
And you're a pretty girl, so I imagine you got a lot of applause on the stage and all of that.
It was a mix.
Package.
You know, it was a mix. Many people really liked it because they were like, whoa, this is really, I guess, brave. Because people who were in that industry for a long time were kind of in charge of those rules and those traditions. So I was kind of not overruling them, but I was still honoring my music, just kind of putting a little bit, a hint of fresh air into it. So it was kind of a challenge.
And for some people,
you know?
kind of a shock, I would imagine. If you come to hear a certain type of music, like if you go to hear jazz and all of a sudden we're listening to folk or something like that, right?
Yeah. Like what is happening, right?
Yeah.
And I didn't only incorporate it with my music, but also with the way I looked, because I wanted to be cohesive as an artist. Like, it's not about the way you play and sing an instrument or your voice. It's also the way you're presented. So my outfits, I've always kind of been a lot into fashion. My outfits were always portray the type of music. So I incorporated a bunch of traditional elements because we have traditional garments that we were supposed to wear in those contests that were like mandatory.
Yeah. Yes.
But I was like, how about I just take inspiration from this and start to kind of curate my wardrobe for these festivals with inspired in those garments, but with a modern twist, with a little bit of something new.
And this is all your composition, or was it suggested to you, or you just
No,
really...
I just wanted to do it because I was like, well, it would be kind of contradictory if I just show up in my full Colombian gown singing new music.
Yeah, it'd be like a mariachi group and you decide to change your costume and sing something different, which is not mariachi.
Exactly. No, that's exactly what I was saying. But that was also shocking because visually it was kind of disruptive. And many people really liked it, and many people were just like, why?
Not sure what to do. Or should we reject this? Is she intruding in our space and all that kind of thing? Wow, that's really a deal. That's so. This is very unique. So your attire, and we're going to be inserting some pictures during this interview. So thank you for sending those to us. Because and some of them you have beautiful flowers in your hair, and you've got, and a couple of them you've got the boots and the white outfit, which is I'm sure a different time.
Right?
But your ability to create the attire that goes with your music is a really big significant thing. I think a lot of talented people forget that part of their presentation. You know, if you make yourself professional and you come across professional, it's like, oh, this girl's got some chops, you know?
And I think it's also about the concept of being iconic.
Yes.
Like even beyond the joke, I think even beyond branding, being an icon, I think, is just being cohesive with who you are, not really just disguising as someone or something else, but just being yourself and being true to your music too. And that was exactly what I was trying to go for.
Yeah, that's awesome. So then, so you did a lot of festivals, won some competition, and then what inspired you to come to the United States?
Right. So by then I was already 16. I had done many things. I was part of a reality show, so I went to The Voice Kids back in Colombia, and I participated as a Colombian artist. So my brand was like, this is Colombian music, but new, right? And that was like a big deal because everyone in The Voice would sing mainstream music. That's kind of the rule. Like you have to sing mainstream music. And I actually had to talk with the directors and a bunch of production people to make it possible for me to sing Colombian music. And they were like, sure, why not? Actually, let's make it a thing. And I was like, great. So I showed up with my non-traditional Colombian outfits in The Voice, and it was pretty awesome. It was a great experience. And it was in that moment where I understood that I wanted to be part of the music industry. Like I had been in several festivals and contests, and there was this beautiful community of Colombian musicians. But that was still for fun, you know? I think that was the moment where I was like, I'm serious with this, you know? So I came out of the program. It was a great experience. And I came back home and I was like, wow, I just feel so empty now that all the spectacle is done. I'm not performing. All the real world is back. And I was like, no, I think I need this. I need to be a performer. I think I need to be a writer. How do I do that? And I started just kind of researching what opportunities there were in Colombia. And Colombian industry in music, I think it's still developing. And I wanted to impact, I think, a broader audience. And I also realized that Colombian music, this is a phenomenon that still happens, is that when a Colombian artist wants to impact Colombia, they actually go outside of Colombia.
Oh, yes.
Impact some other audience. And then Colombians are like, oh my gosh, well, they exist, then I'm going to listen to them, which is a little unfortunate because you would think if you stay in Colombia, they will listen to you. So
it's interesting. I know some group called Venice, and they perform in Denmark, but they're all from Santa Monica.
There you go.
Yeah, it's something about their gift and the way they write is popular. Miles and miles away, right?
Yeah. So I understood that I had to go out, and my mentors were like, Majo, I think your music belongs somewhere else, and later your music will travel back home. And that was like my mission. I want my music to travel back home.
Excellent.
So what happened is that I said, okay, I'm going to go to the US. Let's find a university or a college where I can learn more music.
Yes.
I knew that I had already gone a long way, but I had so much more to learn.
Right, and you didn't really have any formal training. Like, do you read music now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did a little bit.
And the Beatles never did, so. Right?
I did a little bit of like a music theory training, but nothing too deep, So I for sure needed that, and I knew I did. So I wanted formal education and just to go beyond that.
And you researched and found Concordia.
I found Concordia.
I've been to that campus before. It's in Irvine, right?
Yeah, it is in Irvine.
Yeah. And so how was it when you got there? Was it what you expected?
Yeah, I always say that Concordia was like a blind date for me because I didn't get to tour. I mean, all the kids tour campuses,
Yeah.
But funny enough, I just did like a Google search, and I was looking for something very specific. I was looking for a university that I could afford as an international student, so that offered international student scholarships, and that had a very specific program. I wanted a program that was more focused towards contemporary music and music industry, like music business or music production and stuff like that. And it was actually hard to find it.
I bet, because I know many musicians who've had some education in university, but it's usually the music theory and more of connection to how music works, right?
It's general music.
The mechanics of music, we'll say. And so, but the marketing side and even learning how to get yourself out there and promote, the costume dressing, all of that is like last on the list.
Yeah,
right?
it's a different thing. So I found the commercial music program at Concordia, and I didn't even think that was going to happen. I didn't know that was a program or a major whatsoever. So when I found it, I was like, that's it. Let me reach out.
Good thinking.
Yeah, and I reached out, and the directors of the program, they just they were so nice, and they were so personal. They were like, we want you here. Let's make it possible. And I was like, oh my gosh, this dream is coming true.
Yeah.
It was a very fast-paced process, and out of the blue, I was here. So
awesome, totally awesome.
Yeah.
I totally get that. I'm working some projects where somebody says to me, "Oh, you ought to go talk to that person, go meet that person, and tell that guy," and you really don't know why, but you just follow. It's kind of a destiny thing, and one thing leads to another, and then like, oh my God, look at here.
Exactly, and then you're there.
Yeah, it's really awesome. So now you have some awards as part of this whole process. So tell me about your awards.
Yeah, they came in a very timely manner, I would say. I think the ones that I have been most proud of so far, they came in a moment where I really needed them. They were 2 big scholarships from the Latin Grammy Cultural Foundation.
Wow. I
didn't know they offered any type of scholarships in the Latin Grammy Foundation, but I think it was starting my junior year. Colombia faced a tough time economically. So all the families were struggling. My family was struggling. And at some point, we didn't know if I was going to come back to college. Yeah. So, because the rest of my family, I'm the only one here, and the rest of my family are there. So they were like, Majo, I don't know if we were going to be able to afford Concordia. I was like, wow, that's a tough one to swallow, right?
Yeah.
I had already made so many connections and friends and awesome relationships. And I was like, I can't let this go. And I didn't know what to do. And then later, like magic, my mom sent me this link. She was like, check this out. The Latin Grammy Foundation is offering scholarships. Why don't you apply? And I was like, at first, I was like, Mom, everyone is probably applying for this. Everyone in Latin America, you know? She was like, well, you are going to do that too then. And I was like, okay. So I applied to it. And little did I know, a month later, I received that scholarship.
That is so awesome.
And I was able to go back to college.
You just couldn't believe it.
I couldn't. I was in disbelief. And
magical.
Then I applied again and I got it again the next year. So I was like, I was so
2 years
blessed.
of scholarship through the Grammy Foundation.
And that way I was able to graduate, basically.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, so then what next is like in the play there? So you've come to the United States, you're performing, you got your great costuming and marketing, and you had a recent article in a magazine. How did you get that?
Yeah, well, because I was here as a student, now I'm formalizing my new visa, to put it in those terms, as a working visa, as an artist visa. So my lawyers, the legal team that I'm working with, they actually had a contact that works in press, and we made this great relationship with my legal team, and they were like, Majo, you're so talented. We would really want you to meet this person because I think that he could do great things for you. And I didn't know who he was. I didn't know what the deal was. And then we just had like a conversation.
Yeah, one thing led to another. That's really awesome.
And then the article was out.
Yeah. Well, we're going to get to listen to your music.
Amazing.
And you got 5 songs lined up. With the first one you chose because what's the significance of your first one?
Yes, this first song is called If They Ask. And I recently released it in March 27th. So it's been a long run with this song.
That's really recent.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so I wrote it while I was still in college, and I was finally ready to record it and make it a thing. And I'm really happy to show it to you guys.
I'm so glad that we have some time for you you can do about 5 songs.
That's right.
And I've heard some of them from Campus Tracks when you were there, and I know you're just stunning. And a couple of them are in Spanish, right? As well.
That's right.
So we're going to be pleased to have Majo here now to play her music. You've heard her story. This little lady is 23 years old, and look what she's done. One more thing before you go over there. Is there any direction you'd like to give for a young musician who's thinking about college or thinking about getting into music? What advice would you have for that young person?
I would say create. There is nothing that anyone else could do. Like, you have no competition when you create, because only you are able to create what you do, you know? So everyone could sing cover songs, anyone could replicate everybody else's work, but only you can sing what you create, only you can play what you create, and you become unique, you become iconic, you become irreplaceable in this industry, and you also start to feel ownership over what you do, because it's more special, it's your baby, it's your thing.
Right, and you've incorporated all of it.
Exactly.
We're going to break now, and thank you for being here today.
Absolutely.
And go play your music.
I'm excited to do that.
For right this moment, and we'll get out of there. Okay.
So, this first song is titled If They Ask, and I'm just gonna say it's a very sarcastic love song, and I wrote it in a very, in a time where I was a lot in love. You're gonna realize why. So this is If They Ask. And I recently released it, and I hope you like it. Hope you look it up on your favorite platform and make it your favorite song. It's been a while since you've been on my mind. It's been an hour since I mention your name, you'd be surprised how vaguely I remember every joke you made. And now even the clouds have asked me, where has he been? Where is he now? People may think you miss me when they see you're not around. So if they ask about you, I really remember your name and the day when we promised to dance all night with a song that sounds like this. And if they ask, I really remember every word you said. It's not like your voice is still keeping me awake. It's not like I'm writing a song about it. Ba 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 ba. You never got any of my songs. Wouldn't it be fun if you did when it's too late? But how could you guess if you couldn't care less about what is of your priority list? And now even the clouds have asked me, where has he been? Where is he now? People may think you miss me when they see you're not around. So if they ask about you, I really remember your name and the day when we promised to dance all night with a song that sounds like this. And if they ask, I really remember every word you said. It's not like your voice is still keeping me awake. It's not like I'm writing a song about it. So if they ask about you, I really remember your name and the day when we promised to dance all night with a song that sounds like this. And if they ask, I really remember every word you said. It's not like your voice is still keeping me awake. It's not like I'm writing a song about it. No, writing a song about it. What can I say? Oh, if they and that was If They Ask For You. Later on, I actually fell in love. And the next song that I'm going to sing for you is called Wouldn't Change a Thing. I used to joke around with my mom because she's always the first one to listen to my new songs. And when she listened to this one, she was like, Majo, this might be your first love song that you've ever written in this many years of being a songwriter. So this is Wouldn't Change a Thing. Explain myself and say I didn't mean to break our hearts. I'd do anything to make you smile again, but I just wouldn't change a thing. I'd do the same right from the start. I wonder if I'll ever feel the same in other hands, but every other way I wouldn't know that your embrace feels like a ray of sun. And any other time I loved say goodbye? Can we travel back in time? Can I live by memories to have you by my side? Conversations in the dark, singing underneath the stars, driving fast but wishing we'll never get back. 'Cause any other way I wouldn't know that your embrace feels like a ray of sun. Any other time I loved and lost, it took me one step closer to your love. Hold my hand like there's forever ahead. If I'm losing time, let me live this moment till forever ends. Hold me close like I'm going away. If I'm losing you, might as well just stay till we come back again. 'Cause any other way I wouldn't know that your embrace feels like a ray of sun. Any other time I loved and lost, it took me one step closer to your love. And I wouldn't change a thing. So that was Wouldn't Change a Thing. And this is actually still in the works. I am recording my next EP, and this will be definitely one of the songs that you will be listening to by the end of this year, hopefully. And now, there's one that I'm really excited to sing for you, because this one is actually available to listen in any platform in June, my birthday month. So be in tune, stay in tune in my social media. You can find me as MAJO INSUASTI everywhere, anywhere, YouTube, Spotify, etc. So this is Praying for You. And I can just say one thing about this one. Pray for your ex, girl. He needs it more than you. Look like an angel I saw on a canvas in Rome. You were framed between God's heaven and hellfire souls. And you fell from the sky, landed here in my heart, built a pedestal, but you tore it down. I wish you love if you had a heart. So I'll be praying for you. I'm so glad that I met you. Got to learn to read the smile on your player lips, on your haunting eyes. I'll be praying for you. I thank God I'm not near you, 'cause you made the wrong feel right. I knew this was not gonna work, but I still had some hope. You look like an angel, but you lost your wings at her door. And you fell from the sky, landed here in my heart, built a pedestal, but you tore it down. You'll break her heart like you broke mine. So I'll be praying for you. I'm so glad that I sure a perfect liar. When light hits you close, your colors were gone. Clouds turn into fire. Picture a perfect liar. Something has to burn for the light to come. Oh, clouds turn into fire. Picture a perfect liar. When light hits you close, your colors were gone. Oh, clouds turn into fire. Picture a perfect liar. Something has to burn for the light to come. So I'll be praying for you. I thank God I'm not near you. Got to learn to read the smile on your player, lips on your haunting eyes. I'll be praying for you. Oh, 'cause you made the wrong feel right and you burn my pride when you made me cry. I'll be praying for you. Well, that one always takes my breath away. And now, a very special song for you. This one is in Spanish, by the way. It's called Canción de un Adiós. And I wrote this song right about a year before I moved into the United States. And it was a very bittersweet kind of moment for me because I love my country. And I have done Colombian music for so long and Latin American music. So it was this kind of paradox feeling type of thing because I was leaving my country to at the same time honor it and honor my culture through music. So this was like a thank you note to all the people that I did music with, all the people that taught me how to do my thing. So this is Canción de un Adiós. Siento que mi oído te conoce y al son de un bolero conocí que un fin de semana dura años, que con canciones pude vivir. Un mar de canciones tú me diste y en cada canción está tu voz, la voz de un lugar, de un sentimiento, una voz que nunca se apagó. Y partirme da dolor, soltarme me da temor, pero doy un salto y cada paso tiene más color. Tú significas el principio, eres uno de esos sitios en donde todo empezó y hoy te canto esta canción. Cada llanto los recordaré cuánta magia tiene este lugar. Sería millonaria de sonrisas si pagaran con las que me das. Y partirme da dolor, soltarme me da temor, pero doy un salto y cada paso tiene más color. Tú significas el principio, eres uno de esos sitios en donde todo empezó y hoy te canto esta canción. Siento que mi oído te conoce. And this song traveled with me. I wrote it in Colombia and it traveled overseas with me as well. I had the opportunity to record it with so many people here, with my university, with Tony Guerrero, and I remember actually this was my audition song for that Latin Grammy Cultural Foundation Scholarship, and it's really, really fond of me. And now to close this amazing day, I want to share a great song that you can also find everywhere in all platforms. It's called Traveler, and this song was born out of lots of homesickness. It was a point where I forgot who I was because I wasn't home anymore, and I realized how rooted we are to the places where we feel we belong into. So this was about that search of home, of belonging, of who I was, and figuring out that maybe it's not here on earth. So this is Traveler. Cause the mirrors are different in this place far from home, and I can't see myself going back anymore. I was given wings and wheels, strength for the road. I'm made out of winds and streams, waters that flow there for years and years. And I crossed the mountain my mama still sees through her window. Faces, places, smells of wood and salt, holding on to the comfort of the thought of blue skies. And by now I feel different in this place far from home, and I can't see myself going back anymore. I was given wings and wheels, strength for the road. I'm made out of winds and streams, waters that flow there for years and years. I crossed the mountain my mama still sees through her window. I'm made out of steel and songs, bones and songs, pavement light, motors wasted souls. I've walked the world with my father's cross. I travel with the promise of home, 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 with the promise of home, home, come home, the more I've come to know that my promised land is not on earth, so I keep walking. I'm a traveler. I keep walking. Thank you so much, everybody. This is MAJO INSUASTI, and these songs are for you.
Well, everybody, you can see why I was so excited to bring this young lady into the studio. And her performance today was just a little part of her life, exciting life. And we know you enjoyed this. And be sure to look her up on all the platforms, because she's there on Spotify and Apple Music and all of those places. And just an amazing young woman. And like I said before, I found her at Campus Jacks and just appreciated her amazing talent. And one thing we didn't talk about, and we're going to just go out with this pretty much, is to talk about speaking or singing in Spanish. In Colombia, that's what you do. But when you in the United States, singing in Spanish, let's talk a little bit about your identity, because do you get lost in all that at all? Because if you're
That's a good question. I think it's really easy for us humans to root yourself in the space that you inhabit. And I think I was so used to just being Colombia, obviously, right? So I come here and all that I am kind of speaks Colombia, you know, like the way I dress, the way I am, the way I communicate, my music, language, obviously. So the moment I start to be here more, like a longer time, I realized that my identity, I either lose it or I reinforce it, you know? So I have to be really intentional about carrying myself as a Colombian woman, because otherwise it's just gonna get mixed into so many things that I'm scared to lose it. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So I think it's really important to make it, again, like very intentional in every song that I write, to have a little bit of Colombia. Like Colombia travels with me everywhere I go, with my music, in my conversations, the way I am, the way I carry myself.
So that kind of gets us on a topic that happened over Super Bowl Sunday, when Bad Bunny, there was so much discussion about Bad Bunny speaking in his own language, singing in his own language,
right,
at the Super Bowl.
Yes.
I never did quite get that. But he truly is connected to his own identity, and then it was all surrounding his lifestyle from his home country.
Yes.
So what's your opinion about all that controversy?
I think people got really focused in, I would say, the way he said things, or the way he would sing, or the way he would dance, and the how, but not the why or the what. I think he was doing something that many people haven't done in a long time, and is to represent Latin America in such a massive way. Like, people sometimes forget that Gloria Estefan has done that too.
That's right.
You know what I mean? And like, she represents not only Cuba, but she represents Latin America,
right?
And all the Spanish-speaking countries in the U.S. They were the Stefans were the first to represent Latinos in the U.S.
That's right,
and that made it possible for new generations to come. So when Bad Bunny did his performance, I think I was first confused of why so many people were taking it the wrong way, when
Me too.
we have done it before. Like Gloria Estefan has represented us so highly, and Bad Bunny is just doing things differently.
Right.
And I understand disruption is uncomfortable. You know, the way he could say things is a lot more loose than many other artists that have done the Super Bowl.
Right.
But that's just, I think it's the way we say things in Latin America that, unless you know us and have been there, you might not get it. But besides the point of the thing that he did, the representing something that a long time ago has not been spoken about, I think it was really valuable. I think after Gloria, Bad Bunny was, and this could be a hot take, I guess, I think was a really good representative of our culture. And yes, we could not, I sometimes don't agree with some of his lyrics. From time to time, I'm like, well, I'd rather skip this song. But there are some other songs, I think, especially in his new album, he was very intentional about his Latin American roots. I think he focused less in being mainstream. And now getting to know Bad Bunny as an artist, it was possible for me after that Super Bowl. I was like, what is he doing? Let me go into his discography. And I realized that he has a lot more than the music that is in the radio stations.
Right.
He has a lot of Puerto Rico. He has a lot of Latin America, kind of like very much present in that new album that he performed in the Super Bowl.
Yes.
And I was like, why are we not talking about that? Why are we not presenting that he's honoring like the big artists like Héctor Lavoe and like all these huge salsa singers that were actually from the United States. That's something that we're forgetting too. Like salsa actually was born in the United States.
Right.
Yes, it is a Latino music, but it was born here.
And then we haven't even talked about the dance, so
exactly.
which he did, even the dancing. And you also have done some performance with dancing and your little red, white boots and all that like on it, you know. And it's really a unique thing to meet you and know that you completely move along with your own identity, whether it be speaking and singing in Spanish or connecting to your heritage, and even your costuming with flowers and your hair done up like different colored outfits and all of that. You are really an amazing talent.
Thank you so much,
It's just
Terry.
been a delight to have you here. And I wish you all the success. I'm sure you're going to get many more awards as you progress along.
Thank you so
much.
much.
And keep it all safe and sound. I think one thing I mentioned to you is there used to be a TV show called with I Love Lucy. You really don't know her, but I'm sure you'll look her up. And her husband was a musician, Ricky Ricardo, and he sang in Spanish. And no one criticized him. He was just married to a comedian and did music, you know. And to go from that peaceful comedy relief kind of program to controversy just because you're from another country. And granted, there might be some lyrics that not everybody likes, but the English-speaking people do the same thing.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's just to embrace all the music genres and see where it all goes, you know.
Exactly.
We have some interesting background because we both grew up as only children, and there's just something about, give me the next challenge, let's see what happens.
Right, let's see how I can take it.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool thing. So thank you again for coming to the studio today, and your beautiful music, I'm sure everyone will appreciate. And by the way, this program will air through this community television system for Seal Beach, and then I'll have a copy also on my YouTube channel. So we'll have some exposure, and as soon as we get all the editing done, we'll get one over to you, and you can send people to where they can see it.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Terry. It's been a pleasure to be here.
Too. Big hugs. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Okay. And thank you very much for being with us. We will be dark in the Seal Beach Community Television Studio for a while because we are upgrading our equipment, and then we're going to be doing way more productions like this when we get back to speed. Thank you for being with us today.
Siento que mi oído te conoce y al son de un bolero conocí que un fin de semana dura años, que con canciones pude vivir.